Welcome back to Dynamics. Okay, so this is a return to a political video, finally. Kind of. It is a political video in the sense that it's a political issue, and we're talking about, former and current and future presidents. But really, we're talking about the Affordable Care Act, otherwise known as Obamacare. All right, so tell me, what do you think about this law? Right? It's something that that really like has caused a lot of controversy. It has um, a lot of people hate the law, but then there's a lot of people that think that it is something that it isn't, and they love the law, that sort of thing. It's been with us for 14 years. I've seen a lot of people say 15 years in their post about it lately, and it's not. It was 2010. It's not 15 years. It's 14 years. And then, so we have the reason why this is coming up is Trump has talked about getting rid of it again. Um, so let's deal with that right off the bat. Um, he said he was going to get rid of it when he ran in 2016. He didn't get rid of it while he was president for 4 years. I don't see that changing this time around. He's talking about it because it works good with the base, but I just don't see them getting rid of the law. So let's just put that out there. I don't see him doing it. Here's my take on it, and this is from someone that I have worked directly with the Affordable Care Act in one way or another. Not going to go into huge detail about that, but I am extremely familiar with the law. And so here's the thing, um, it raised everybody's insurance rates, which is not good. It revamped a system that in ways that made it worse. It didn't improve the quality of service. And the one thing that it did do was it gave people a credit so that they could have some assistance and have insurance. It also got rid of the ability of insurance companies to be able to deny insurance on pre-existing conditions. These are some of the things that it's done, and that's what it is. It's the thing about it that bothered me the most is that they decided to move forward with this, force it on everybody, and make it this huge thing that took over huge aspects of the medical industry in this country, in people's lives, and they got really involved in people's lives and said that they required people to have insurance and that sort of thing. It could have been, hey, if your goal was to make sure that people could have insurance, that more people could have insurance that wanted insurance, and that you wanted to give some sort of tax credit for that, it wouldn't have gotten nearly as much pushback as it did. Um, it also wouldn't have been as massive as it was. The law was huge, and people that passed it had no clue what was in it. They still don't have any clue what's in it. This is something that I bring up pretty often in discussions. No one knows what I'm talking about when I say this, but this is something that actually happens. So here's a scenario for you. Um, an individual, we'll say it's a guy. He's a man. he he's working in the previous year. Say he works until April, loses his job, right? So he comes in to the following year, and based on his prior work year, he was working, didn't make more than the federal poverty level. Some what is it? 100% of the federal poverty level, something like that. I'm missing some of the details there, but anyways, he qualifies for the Affordable Care Act. He starts getting the premium tax credit, the advanced premium tax credit, so the portion that they pay to the insurance companies to help offset the cost of the insurance, right? But he's still not working. Okay, so technically speaking, he qualifies because in the previous year he worked for, a portion of the year. Um, but in the current year, he technically doesn't qualify for it. But they gave it to him because they give it to you in the year, so they base it off your prior year. Okay. Well, goes through the whole year. Um, let's just say it was 2014. He wasn't working for most of 2014. Comes into 2015, gets the Affordable Care Act. We're looking at him not working through all of 2015. He gets to, let's say, November, and he's running out of his savings, and he's running out of unemployment, and his bills are coming due. He has a mortgage he needs to pay. He has credit card debt. He has all these things, and he's thinking to himself, he's like, what can I do to give me more time? Because I know I'm going to find a job. I know I am, but I just need more time. So what he does is he goes into his retirement. He pulls out money out of his retirement. The people at the retirement company say, "Hey, this is an early withdrawal from your retirement fund, so you're going to pay taxes on it, and you're going to have to pay a 10% penalty. So we'll withhold the 10% penalty from you in taxes, so that you don't have to be surprised by that, and it can cover that. Although it doesn't cover the rest of your taxes, but it does cover this 10% tax. So say that's the only money you had, and so maybe you don't owe regular taxes, you just owe the 10% because your regular taxes are offset by your standard deduction, your exemptions, that sort of thing. Okay, so you feel pretty confident that they're pulling out the 10%. You're not going to owe taxes on the rest of it, and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. So you file your tax return in January of the following year, and you everything's good. You didn't owe too much, or you didn't owe anything, and you went along your merry way. Well, you get a notice from the IRS, and the IRS says, "Hey, um, sorry about all your bad luck and everything, but that Affordable Care Act. You know how you were getting the advanced premium tax credit? You don't qualify for it anymore because you pulled out money out of your retirement to pay all your bills. And when you pulled out all that money, you all of a sudden no longer were in that federal poverty level range that qualifies for the advanced premium tax credit payments, and you owe all of that back. Thousands and thousands of dollars because the insurance premiums were expensive. You just didn't really care because it was being paid for by the government, and you didn't really have a whole lot of say in it anyways because they said you were required to have insurance. So you didn't really think about it too much. You just kind of let it happen, right? Well, now you owe $7,000, $10,000. Why? Because you owe those premiums back. Did you know that the law did that? Um, You probably didn't. Most people don't. Even the people that were managing the retirement accounts didn't know it, so they didn't even advise people of these things because no one thought about it, right? So this guy's been unemployed for well over a year, um, and thought he did everything right, did everything that the government told him he had to do, and then now he has this huge tax debt that he has no way of paying, other than maybe taking more money out of his retirement and having to go through this whole process all over again. Um, so yes, this is something that happened because of the way the Affordable Care Act was written, and no one knew about it. This is just one of the big issues with the law, right? But all they had to do was go in and say, hey, we want more people to be able to get health insurance. More people that want health insurance should have health insurance. And we want some sort of government subsidy to be able to make that a possibility. Expand Medicare, give people, access to a different type of health insurance, or give people different access to a different type of medical system. Maybe they could have said, hey, we have this veterans affairs thing that is really being run poorly. The VA medical, it's being run poorly. Let's go ahead and improve that, throw a bunch of money at it so it improves the care for veterans, but also roll it into this new system that we want to do. But we don't need to make it mandatory for everybody. It doesn't need to be nearly that complicated. They could have done something like that. Wouldn't have had nearly as much pushback as it did. And a lot more people would have been happy to get assistance with their health insurance. But no, my health insurance costs go up. Everybody is forced into this system unless they have health insurance through their employer, and now we're coming to this system 14 years down the line, seeing all the problems it has caused, and so we have a guy running for office who has already said this previously, but is now saying again that he's going to end the Affordable Care Act. And so, of course, the other side is going to campaign against that and campaign on that and say they're going to save it and it's going to be great. It's never been great. And really, he should have said nothing about it, because Trump should have said nothing about it, because you know you're not going to get it overturned. So why even bring it up and give them something to argue against? It just makes zero sense to me. Do I think it should be overturned and we should find a different system? Of course. I think that it's not great. It's better now because they did kind of remove that requirement. But, you know, I am sure that people are still dealing with the ramifications of the advanced premium tax credit and having to repay that when it's calculated incorrectly. And that's something that should be fixed. So that's my take on it. Let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. Have a good day.